Okay, today I'd like to show you some things that I saw at TCEA 2 weeks ago, three of which are websites, and two are some student projects using PowerPoint, so they're very simple and easy to use. At the end of this training, you'll take a quiz using SurveyMonkey that's linked right below this video in E4, and that's how you'll get 30 minutes credit for participating in the Staff Development on Demand opportunity. Okay, so what I've done is just gone to the E4 tab and opened up this banner link. This will take you to our school wiki, where I've listed a lot of resources about our software and Web 2.0 tools. All of the links and examples and instructions that I show you today are all available on this site for you. So the first two sites I want to show you are actually under social studies, but they could be used in any way, really. They're basically current event websites. The first is called Newseum, and this is a website that hosts, well, it's actually a museum for all sorts of news, but it hosts this really cool topic called, or linked to, today's front pages. And when it first comes up, it comes in the list view, but I really like to click on map. And what they do is each day upload the front page from each newspaper that they work with. And you can see there's quite a bit. So once the map is loaded, you can start to hover over and get an idea of what happened that day in that location. The really neat thing is that they have links to other places. So say I want to go to the Middle East and see what the newspapers says there. Now some of these are going to be, of course, in a different language, but you're also going to find some in English. And if you double click on these, what you can do is see the image in more detail. If you want, you can right click on it, save picture as, and insert this into your presentation tools, say PowerPoint or Prezi or whatever you're using that day with your kids. Or you can click readable PDF, and you can actually hand this out to your students to read. So pretty neat little website called Newseum. The second site is called CNN News. And what this is, if you're familiar with Channel 1, it's very similar, except that it's just a website and you can stream the broadcast straight from the website. So CNN has put together a 10-minute video, which is actually a broadcast highlighting the day's news, but the audience is middle school and high school students. And so you can stream this from anytime in your classroom just by clicking play. And then after you show this to your students, if you scroll down, you'll see that they've gone ahead and written you some media literacy questions for the day. So you can either hand that out to your kids, it actually has space for them to write the answers, or you can lead a class discussion based off those questions. CNN's won a lot of awards for this, so it's definitely worth checking out. CNN Student News. Okay, the third site I actually have listed under electives here. It is Google Art Project, and I'm not going to open it here because I'm in Explorer. I have found that Google Art Project, because it's a Google tool, works best in their browser. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Google Chrome. And Google Chrome is just another browser like Internet Explorer or Firefox. It looks a little different. So I'm just going to go up here to the top and I'm going to type in Google Art Project. And you'll see that's the first thing that comes up. So what this is a compilation of, or a partnership between Google and some of the major museums of the world. And they have brought you the artwork to look at and the museums to look at in one nice location. So let's just pick one of the museums. This is the National Gallery in London. And I have two options here. I can look just at the artwork, or I can look at the actual hallways of the hotel. So let me show you what the artwork looks like first. So what you have here is a very high definition image of the work, and you can drag this little cursor over and zoom in and really see the details in the paintings as if you were in the museum, and you can talk about what you see in each part of the museum or the painting with your students. You can really get into some fine detail so far that you actually see the cracks or the brush strokes in the painting. So there's a wealth of things you can do with this in the classroom if you want to include some art literacy in your curriculum. If I go to the visitor's guide, I can go back to the home screen. And if I didn't want to look at the artwork, I could just explore the museum. And some of these museums have really neat architecture. And this is just like Street View, except that we're inside the museum. You can walk the hallways, see what's going on, and anytime that you see a plus sign near a painting, you can zoom in on that painting just like we did a minute ago and explore it in more detail. So that is Google Art Project. You'll find that some of the paintings, they actually have little videos that go along with them with docents talking about what's going on. So there's a lot to be offered there, and there'll be more as this is just a new product that Google's offering. Okay, the next two things are actually student projects, and they're using PowerPoint in a different way. So they're under student projects, and I like these because both of them are a twist on a report style project. You give the kids an assigned topic, and then instead of writing a long report, they're going to either do a postcard or do a Who Am I project. Let's look at postcard project first. That's a little bit simpler. Here are the teacher instructions, but there's also some examples here. And this is a PowerPoint slide. I've just uploaded it into Google Docs. So this was all created in PowerPoint. And what the kids were given was an assigned task to research Kilimanjaro. And then they had to find a photo of it, find a certain number of facts about it, and then translate that into a first-person narrative in the form of a postcard. So it looks like this one was on Kilimanjaro, and they researched that it was a freestanding mountain. It had volcanic cones. It was called a sky island. They learned a lot about Kilimanjaro. And the temptation that kids have to cut and paste when they're doing internet research is kind of taken away with this project, because most research on the web is not written in first person, so they actually have to translate that into a narrative, which prevents them from being able to cut and paste. And then they've also found a stamp, and I've got a website that you can use to find the stamps. They just go to that website and they can pick any country and explore all sorts of stamps and pick which ones they want to use. So another example of this project would be, instead of giving them a place, you could give them a person. So this assignment, the student was given Charles Darwin, and they had to research his biography. Where did he go that he would send a postcard from? Who would he have written to? And what would he have written about his faith, his adventures on the Beagle, and what he saw on the Galapagos Island? And so the kids have done some basic PowerPoint skills. They've modified text, they've inserted some images, and they've written a basic report in first person. If you go to the last slide here, you'll see some resources for yourself when you're doing this with students. Here is the link to the website where I found the stamps, and there's so many stamps on that site, so it's a great place to go. A great place to send your kids to do research at any time is the library databases, and there's your link to that. And then the neat thing about doing this in PowerPoint is you have some really cool print options. A postcard isn't the size of a full sheet of paper, and if the kids just print it regular, that's how big it's going to come out. But if you direct them to choose to print handouts and to choose 2 per slide, you're going to see that they will get, it'll only print 1, but they'll get a postcard size document that they can cut and cut out and post on your wall. And they're really cute. So that's the postcard project. The other project is another PowerPoint project. It's called Who Am I? And I've got a set of student instructions here that you can print off and give to the kids. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you the example and show you how I created it. So again, the students have been given a topic. Let me try that one more time. Okay. And they've been told that they're going to make 5 slides about that topic, and they have to give some clues about the topic. So at first we get the first clue. We know this was an editor On the second slide, we get a glimpse at the hidden image and another clue. And this continues throughout the 5-slide presentation. And of course, by the last slide, we know that this is Benjamin Franklin. So how did the kids create this? It was pretty simple, but they learned some basic PowerPoint skills that they're going to need. So they go to All Programs, Microsoft Office, and they open up PowerPoint. And they've already done their research, so they're going to type in, "Who am I?" and their first clue. They would have had to go online and find an image, and I've already found mine, so they're going to insert the image. And then they need to hide the image. So what we use is auto shapes. So we're going to go insert shapes, and we're just going to use some basic squares. I'm going to draw one that covers about 1/4 of the picture. And then if I select that auto shape and I hit Control D 4 times, that's a very quick way to duplicate anything in an Office product. So I move my auto shapes to cover the entire photo, and I don't want them to be blue, I want them to blend in. So if I hold down the Control button, I can select all 4 of them, and if I right click, I can format the object. So I want the fill not to be blue but white, so it matches the background, and then when I go to line color, I don't want there to be any line. And you can see now we've hidden Cinderella. Then the kids go back to the original slide, they right click on it, copy, and paste. On their second slide, they go in and they delete one of their auto shapes, and they write their second clue. They go back, copy, paste, uncover one more part of the clue. Well, maybe not that one. Let's do this one. Change the clue. Copy. Paste. Delete another one, and we're just going to continue this process. On the last slide, instead of giving a clue, they give her name. And that's the project. It's done. They save it in their H drive. Now, I did that very quickly. The kids are not going to be as experienced, and they're gonna have to stumble through some of the creating of the auto shapes, but they're learning PowerPoint skills. They're learning to manipulate an image, to insert text, work with auto shapes, and format them, and also how to duplicate slides. So they're learning a lot of tech skills, as well as they've done a lot of research to come up with those clues. So they would need time to come up with the clues. And then when this project's done, they save it in their H drive, and then they can show it to the whole class, and the class guesses who their character is. Or you use it as a warm-up for the next couple weeks. You just go into one kid's H drive and you pull that up, and that's your warm-up activity for the day. There's a lot of ways to modify this to make it harder for higher level students. You can increase the difficult level by choosing a harder character. You can have them do multiple characters, so instead of just doing 5 slides, you have them do 15. Or you have them come up with more clues. So it's a really nice adaptable project, and it's a little different than the standard report. I hope you found something useful in this presentation, and just remember to go into E4 right below the link to this video and take the little short 6 or 7 question quiz, and that will get you credit in MLP for participating in this on-demand staff development session.